Hi guys, welcome back. So Ireland get it done. They win the Grand Slam 29-16. They get the job done against England. It wasn't easy. England made a good fight of it. They went down to 40 men, but they still fought hard, but they weren't really set up to win. They were there to kind of not lose by too much and make a bit of a gutter fight of it, and they did. But Ireland came through, showed their quality in the end. Then they get the well-deserved Grand Slam, so well done to them. And you could tell from the beginning that it really meant a lot to them. The tears streaming down Porter's face in the anthems. The stadium was absolutely rocking. It was brilliant stuff. So let's get into the story of the game, pick up some of the themes. And if you've enjoyed my coverage of the Six Nations, feel free to subscribe. I don't say it much, but yeah, do subscribe if you haven't already, because we do have the World Cup coming up and I'd love to have you along. So let's get into this match. And right from the off, England were flying up in defence, definitely trying to disrupt the Irish, which they did fairly well, but Ireland were clearing out pretty well as well, and England were just a bit overzealous, and their penalty count was pretty high. A Farrell silly tackle in the air on Gibson Park, and then another early tackle on Gibson Park from Itoje. Just things they don't need to do. Maybe less haste, more speed is the saying there. Arundel, to be fair, did get a really good jackal, and then a huge punch up from Tuolangi on 5 minutes launched a decent phase of English attack, but when it gets wide for England, there's just not a lot there individually apart from the wings. Slade and Stewart just looking a little slow, but they do get a penalty, so they go ahead 0-3. And let's talk about Henry Arundel. Goodness me, he had a bit of the Hassel Collins about him. Didn't get the ball much, got hauled off early, didn't have any effect on the game. Is it his fault? I don't know, but we were hoping for a lot. Maybe it was a bit of hope rather than belief. But anyway, that didn't happen. The other winger, Watson, was fantastic. I thought in a losing effort. But yeah, anyway. Henry Arundel, case in point here, on 9 minutes gets caught in two minds between whether to run or kick and gets held up, so some nerves there. Willis saves the day with a desperate tackle on Van der Fleer, who nearly burst through, and Willis was an absolute titan in defence, really good defensively. Lots of turnovers, lots of big tackles. Sexton takes a risk and takes a quick tap penalty as they go try and push for this try a little bit too early, but it's good work from Itoje and Dombrandt to hold him up, and England just staying in the game here, hanging tough, which is kind of what they tried to do the whole game, and Ireland just pushing that little bit too much, fluffing their lines a little bit until the end. So 12 minutes in, and by now the tactics are fairly well set. England keeping numbers on their feet, a big kicking game, getting them in good position. They actually win a really good penalty, so it's 0-6. So even though they're not particularly chancing their arm, they are being fairly efficient. They've managed to quiet the crowd a bit in this first 15 minutes. But then on 15 minutes, it is panic stations as Keenan breaks through. England scramble hard, but Sinclair clearly off his feet in the jackal. He's been right off it the whole tournament, to be honest. And England will actually settle for 3 points here as Ireland decide to kick it this time. 3-6, and massive roar from the crowd as Sexton becomes the leading Six Nations point scorer ever. So a good landmark there. And 20 minutes in, there's been a couple of fluffs from Furlong already. England are flying up, putting the handling under pressure. It's not quite sticking for Ireland. Some decent hard lines from England, the likes of Genge and Tuolangi, but not particularly creative in attack, apart from Watson's quick feet. He was pretty much it on attack for England that wasn't just straight up and down. Anyway, Stewart again a bit too slow out wide to trouble the defence, and Ireland escape a bit too easily with Itoje giving away a soft line-out penalty, and England did give away a stack of penalties in that first half especially. Now, just a note at this point, Ireland are playing England at their own game here a bit too much with the kicking game. England coming up trumps there, and Ireland haven't got their attacking game going yet, so they're just struggling at this point. But England, with those penalties, making life hard for themselves as well. Dombrandt with a needless late tackle, and Dombrandt really hasn't fired the whole tournament. He's been given the whole tournament to have a chance, so surely it's curtains for him, but who knows. On 29 minutes, it looks like Ireland have monstered England's scrum, but Ireland get pinged for the wheel, and the ref was quite hot on Ireland in the scrum technically. Let me know what you think about that. England are hanging on to this lead, but they're not slick by any means. On 30 minutes, really frustrating from England. The whole backline just watches the ball in the air, lets Keenan take it. He gets it well. To be fair, leads to a penalty in a good attacking position. Then on 32 minutes, a really well-worked try. They break off a maul to the right inside ball to Sheehan, Don Brandt's all at sea in defence. No one else from England can get out and make the tackle because Sheehan's too quick. When you compare his speed against Stewart, Jamie George, no, it's a little bit embarrassing really. Try 10-6. Freddie Stewart at this point had a poor day under the high ball, but just as I wrote that, he actually took a good one. But certainly for the first half hour, he wasn't making those catches coming forward either. The English midfield of Tuolangi, Farrell and Slade weren't really giving Ireland any worries in defence for pace or footwork. England need to get the balls to the wings, and the one time they did get the ball to Arundel, he was held up, so not looking particularly dangerous in attack. Plus the penalty machine that is Sinclair is once again pinged. Then on 41 minutes, the big incident, the controversial incident, the Freddie Stewart red card. Now technically I can see why it's a red card, and also I can see a good argument to say it's a rugby incident. The problem Freddie Stewart has is he stops playing when he should have just carried on playing to the whistle. He saw the knock on, he assumed the game was going to stop, and then when Keenan carried on, he was kind of in the way. He decided to turn his shoulder on him instead of taking it in the stomach, which is hard to do, but technically, yeah, he makes contact with the head. Red card, I guess. If he carried on playing and maybe made a tackle or something like that, it would have been just a tackle or a yellow card at worst. So his problem was he stopped playing, always played to the whistle, they say, but it was dreadfully unlucky, and I could see how it would be called a rugby incident. So let me know what you think about that one, but it certainly killed the game a little bit. Anyway, Ireland smash away at the line and England do well to hold out, so it's actually just 10-6 at half time. Right, England are down to 14 players now in the second half, and they're always going to struggle to fill the field. Gibson Park does well to skin Genge down the left, ping England back. An England team set up to contain Ireland, which is kind of what you have to do, I guess, with 14 and the limited attacking players England have. But how long can they do it for? Watson's their danger man. He's doing a really good job returning the ball, but he's going to have to cover fullback as well, so he has so much work to do, but he does it well. England seems to be hanging on for when they can put on the subs. Anyway, Willis continues to be a beast in defence, lots of loose ball, and England seems to pick up the bits and pieces a bit more. Decent midfield scrummaging position for England, and they need points here, and they get a rare scrum penalty. They celebrate like crazy because they need everything they can get, and they slot it. Good kicking from Farrell today, 10-9, so within a point. England are hopeful, but it's still very unlikely. But Ireland are still fluffing their lines. An over-ambitious line out from Sheehan just goes over the top when they don't really need to. And the tension's just building because they're ahead. They know they should win, but they're not managing to execute yet. On 54 minutes, more poor play from Ireland. They kick too long, and Watson continues to work wonders. They're winning this kicking battle, are England. And Sexton, even he feels the pressure as he kind of slices it into touch. England have a line-out maul on the 22, but Ireland shred it, and Gibson Park bursts up the middle, which is pretty impressive, but Lowe panics, throws the ball forward, so they're just stumbling at Ireland. They know they need one more score to probably win it, but the tension is just getting to them. And the ref's not liking Porter's scrummaging again. England in a good position, but Baird sweeps this time on an isolated Genge, so good play from him. And England need every single point they can get, and they didn't get it there. Like I said, Arundel hauled off, having done the Hassel Collins of not really affected the game at all. A massive shame. Anyway, 59 minutes, a great kick from Sexton this time. Finally catches England out in the backfield because they're a man down. They're driven over their line, so it's a scrum 5 to Ireland. Is this the Grand Slam winning moment? They attack left a couple of times and then quickly wrap right. It's too much for England to overfold. Plus they've got 14 men. Aki does well just to suck in the last defender and put Henshaw through a gap. It wasn't the last defender, but suck in a defender and put Henshaw through the gap. There's the try they needed. The tension is broken, 79, and that was pretty much the game right there. Then a 1-2 blow as Ireland score once again, created by the phenomenal Dan Sheehan, who breaks up the right, and then more good work. Conan Lovely hands out of the tackle, back to Sheehan, who scoots over. 24-9, great conversion from Sexton, so it looks like it's too much for England now. To be fair, they fight hard to England, they fought hard all game, not really enough quality, but anyway, they hung on in there. But their best period of the game here, it was a massive maul that shunted over from a long way out, so that'll be good for the forwards to celebrate 24-16. But then to kill all hope, Jack Willis gets a yellow card, which is a shame because he's been England's best forward defensively. They're down to 13 men for a bit, and Ireland punish it ruthlessly straight away, breaking off a maul with 3 men, far too much. Herring doesn't even need the outside men as he stretches over to score. Celebrations begin 29-16. To be fair to England, they finish on a decent attacking set, but not enough players, run out of players, and Ireland swarm all over them. To be fair, England finish on the attack. Good character shown there. They can't get anywhere, but character doesn't win tournaments. World-class players do. Years of training and playing together do. World-class coaches do. And that's what Ireland have. Quality in buckets. They deserve the Grand Slam. Well done them. The stadium's rocking. It was certainly tense for a while there. A talking point with a red card. England came and made a game of it, but it was a very limited game plan. So full time, there we have it, 29-16. I'd love to know what you thought of this game. All the comments below. Ireland got the job done. England hung on in there, but weren't going to be good enough, especially with 14. Love to know what you thought, and I'll catch you next time.